stand, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and justice for all. Silence. All right, roll call. The entire board is here. So we have Barbara Curtis, Preston Lee, Richard Nichols, and Bob Heffernan. Ex officio, Trina Brown is going to be sitting in for the city. And Robin Davis, general manager, Sharon Sexton, and Michael Hoffman are legal counsels here. Yeah, but ex officio. But Kim is here also. All right, so the consent agenda. Does anyone want anything pulled from the consent agenda? If not, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Do you have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, call to the public. Members of the public wishing to address the board on any BPW-related matter, whether on tonight's agenda or not, should make their requests known at this time. Please note there will be no opportunity for additional public comments on matters listed on the agenda until the end of the meeting. Each speaker will be 3 minutes. No action or board discussion, including answering questions, will occur during the public comment period. However, the board president may ask staff to review a matter, and individual members of the board may ask for a matter to be put on future agendas. So, call to the public. Who's online? Okay. Bill Shell is not going to be attending. He'll be listening to the tape afterwards. All right, so receive the informal report. Nate, how you doing?
Sir, thank you. You guys can see I'm here. Jeff and Matt had scheduled, it was the annual Xenon, or biannual Xenon conference in Cleveland. Really, Jeff swears by it, so I wasn't going to say no, but we also missed the date, so. Let's see, on the report as it says, pump station 6, valves are in, actually. Hopefully scheduling that for next week. The valve replacement, gate replacement on train 4, those are ordered, but it's a 2-month lead time. So as soon as they come in, we'll schedule that replacement.
So are we going to have to swap membranes between trains?
Possibly for one more time.
One more time?
So, okay. I mean, the plant's running really well. The membranes are working extremely well. The guys are really keeping up on it. So
yeah, but from what I remember what Jeff said last time, it was kind of at that period now.
It's not the easiest thing to do, but yeah.
Okay.
Let's see, the replacement valves for the ditches. Hopefully by the end of not this month or next month, those will be replaced. Hopefully we can kind of try to fine tune the process of denitrification down at the wastewater plant, just to help us optimize the plant. Let's see. And then hopefully helping with the water usage, the 2 solenoid valves for both mills, 5 and a 2.5 mil, have been replaced. I was looking at it today, it was working really well. The water wasn't just running, so hopefully we'll see better, at least improved water usage down there.
That was warranty work, right?
I don't think so. Matt would have to answer that if that was done under warranty or not. I'm pretty sure we had to do the replacement. But yeah, I'm not sure. I will ask. And then we're also looking at, I know we were trying to work with Envirep on the utility water system, but it's kind of getting difficult to get them down here to help us, so we're looking at alternative contractors to help us move forward with that work. It's just, I guess, like I said, scheduling issues, and it's hard to get them down here. Like, see, the breaker for the main generator was replaced. Thankfully, that went really well. You know, nothing too crazy, but it's just the idea of we find out it's not operable when we need it to work.
So is the rental generator gone?
Yes, yes. Just trying to make sure I cover everything. Kind of the last thing I had was, so at pump station 8, and I think it tends to happen just because 4 and 8 are always kind of fighting against each other. Pump station 8 tends to slow down in its flow. So we had to put the 6-inch portable pump on to really kind of blow the line out, and it increased the flow back to where it should be. So it's just kind of a annual, if not every 6-month occurrence, we have to do that just to make sure 8's working like it should.
I guess I kind of missed this one, I'm sorry. The broken pipe at pump station 12, what pipe was it?
That I don't know, but I know it had to do with being able to operate, I believe, one of the pumps. Let me see, that was here. Because I think one of the pumps had to be offline until we got it fixed, so I'm pretty sure it was a discharge. That was 12, right? Pretty sure, yes, pump 12. Of course, that says it's back online, so I'm pretty positive that's what it was. One of the pumps had to be offline while we had to get that fixed. It was a discharge pipe, but that has been completed. That's that one too. So, I know that Mr. Hefferman had asked for a chart. We're developing a new one. I know we had one before. We're getting new prices just to make sure they're as up to date as they can be.
Great. I'm just,
Yep.
call it the $64,000
Yep.
question.
No,
Just what could you do if we found some money in there?
I'm going to also tell you, we're also looking at seeing if there's a few of those pump stations that we can put in bypasses. Then potentially we could use, say, a temporary pump to pump a few pump stations in an emergency before we can get to that point of, hopefully replacing pumps as we can. I know, I think it had been stated that, we don't want to buy new pumps and put them on the shelf for 5 years.
Right.
So if we buy them, we put them in, the new ones would go in, that would allow us to pull one of the existing ones to get it rebuilt, switch out the next one and rebuild it. So then the new one should be in and a rebuilt. We don't want it to age on the shelf. That wouldn't make any sense. So it's,
Okay, well, I appreciate it because that paragraph's been there since a long time.
Yeah, I forgot where we're at. How many of the pumps can we actually put bypass?
That we'll have to see. Like I said, I know we started looking, so I'll have to get with the guys to see how many of them we can, because you'll need a vault. So they have to have a valve vault in order for us to put in a bypass. So we'll have to see how many there are out there that we could potentially do that.
So if you include that next month, I would appreciate that.
I have a couple questions.
Yeah.
On your maintenance budget, I'm confused by the little table there. And I should have asked this months ago, and I apologize for asking you about it, Nick. But
No.
you've got the monthly budget, March
Yes.
2026, contract year to date, and then under. What
So
is
for the
under?
whole year, we're under 32,000.
Okay,
Which is now last year.
so that's kind of, no, it's not last year for them.
No, we've,
Okay.
when is it, November? Or no? Yeah, October.
Okay.
October is when we roll over, yep.
So that's kind of the remaining,
Yes,
okay.
Yeah, it's counting down to when we're gonna have to start paying.
Okay. Another question I had, I see that you have to rent a crane, a lift for the crane inspection. Is that new, or have you always had to do that? Don't,
I would think we've always had to do that, because the only way to get up to the crane is with a lift, but I'll have to I'll verify with Matt that that has always been the case.
I'm not seeing it, but that doesn't mean anything. And then I'm trying to figure out the Gantt chart.
Yes.
For pump station 17 in particular, it looks like the work completed thing is filled into the end, but it's,
Yeah, well, I think, so that's what's left, is to complete the work.
okay.
But that was for, because, yeah, that we're working with GMB, trying to figure out what's the best path forward. Pump station 17.
Okay. And then on the work orders, the first page, 5203, no, yes, 5203, the cyclic air valve train 3. Slight caustic and air leak.
Yeah, so that's for, let's see. So the system uses, the pumps that we have for the chemical feed are air actuated. And so there was an air leak that was allowing us, I don't know that there was a caustic leak, but I know there was an air leak, and it was just interfering with the issue of getting was that train 3 to operate as it's supposed to.
Okay.
The other I lost track. Are all the heaters in the plant replaced?
Yep.
We're up to, so that's all up to date? And I saw the doors on here, and there was the one ceiling vent. Where are we at
Oh,
with
and
that?
that in the,
Chemical building.
Chemical.
They sealed all that. They've got the roof in the office was fixed.
Oh, okay.
They sealed all the
Nice.
contractor has done that, yeah.
Okay, great. Anyone else have any questions for her? Well, thank you very much, Nat.
thank you.
So, President's report. I attended the APPA Engineering and Operations Conference down in Huntsville, Alabama, as did Scott. The wastewater treatment facility walk down, the wastewater treatment facility meeting with the county was held, and it was a turnover meeting between the outgoing county engineer and the incoming county, or the county engineer that's going to be taking it over, and just to make sure that everyone was on the same page going forward. And we held that in Georgetown. And Press was at that with me, and Robin, and Sharon, were you there? Listened to the mayor and city council meeting by telecom, so I didn't infect anyone. The water tower progress meeting, I'm going to leave that for Robin to update. And we held discussions with DRBA. the ferry and Delaware Power and Light to discuss the needs of the electric ferries and the redundant power line coming into town that we've been talking about for ages. So more on that in the future. And Robin, the general manager's report?
All right, as noted in my report, some of the items, department activities, we continued conversations with State Park regarding the sewer force main line to pump station 8. Tom noted that we met with DRB about upgrades to the ferry. Also, the saltwater intrusion monitoring well at Mitchell's Corner was installed. We got data loggers that need to be put in. That's part of our requirement for our water allocation permit. That we have to put 3 in. We're able to utilize the test well that was put in at Tower Hill as one of the wells. So all we have to do is a data logger in there, and then hopefully one of the wells, the old wells on Slay Avenue, we can utilize one of those.
Do you know what kind of condition they're in? Because they've been out of service.
That's what we're working on with AC Schultes. AC Schultes. The biggest thing about the Slay Avenue is we got to take partial roof off the old building so they can get the pump and stuff out. And of course, that's in the historic district, so there might be a little issues with that. But I'm not saying they seem confident, but just by looking at it, so hopefully we can utilize it and save us from having to drill wells, another well.
In the old wells, though, they were not plugged? I think we typically come plugged.
One of them is, the other one still has the motor and everything, which is why we gotta take the roof off to get that motor out. And there's a hole in that roof, but it's not big
There's
enough.
lots of holes in that.
Just not quite big enough, we're not that lucky.
We're hoping
They were
that,
well before me.
Wasn't
we're hoping H Park will be considerate of the condition of the building.
Wasn't there a well on the library property?
Yes, but we don't think that one's deep enough for what's needed to do because it has to be basically the same depth as what we have for our existing wells.
Okay, the existing saltwater intrusion wells.
It has to be the same as what our operating wells are.
Oh, your
yes.
operating wells.
Yes, correct.
So do we have a deadline for getting all that operating?
Yes, we're originally when they came out with our first permit last year, they did not put a time frame on it, but then when the update came in, they put a time frame on it. So we're working to get them done. Like I said, we've got the 2 ready. We just wait for the data loggers to come in, and we can stick them in there and start monitoring. Some of the work from the electric department, we got Potomac testing coming in as they annually do, and the installation of some breakers at the substation. Relocated a utility pole on Pilot Town Road for deck service, so we have better access. Water department had pretty major leak there on Delmar that's repaired. Water leak at Henlopen Gardens, and from the finance end of it, they solicited proposals for the cost of services study, which working with the finance committee to go over those. Our capital projects, as Tom noted, the water, elevated water storage tank, progress is moving on. I don't know if Josh is going to be able to put up some pictures.
Or not because of the video. Can we see the photos for the water tank?
Sorry.
So,
I've got them on my phone if you want to see them.
so I encourage everyone to go out and take a look at it. They're really making very good progress on it. Since the last meeting, it was basically a teacup, a martini glass. And now they're working on the upper half of the shell, so.
It's basically, from when I was out there today, it almost looks complete.
Oh, is it? I've been out
It really
there a couple of
does.
days.
Are we in a race with Milton?
We are now beating Milton, even though they started several months ahead of us. Yeah.
Okay.
Evidently, we have the A crew.
Are we using the same contractor?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, CB&I.
Yes.
do the work.
I think it's, I don't want to say 500, it's probably 300 some probably. I would probably say, yeah, yeah. we got a little bit more on the Hornkill Avenue. We got had the bid opening, and we're gonna hopefully award the bid today. 4th Street project, we're moving on, with the 4th Street project. As we received the supplemental funding from WEAC. Unfortunately, the STAG application, through, McBride's office, we got denied for that. But we still put in for, congressionally, I can't remember what the D is, funding. We still have that application in, and actually we had someone call us last week or send some emails back had some questions, so hopefully maybe we'll get some extra money for that. Cape Scope Water Project's moving on. They got the sewer mains all installed. We'll be starting on the water mains, hopefully this week, next week, maybe. Staffing, we have 2 service longevity recognitions. We got Josh Scruton with 11 years.
Whoa.
Yay.
Good job.
And Gary Johnston, he's our lead electric lineman. He has 5 years. Training, we are going to do a CPR refresher training on May 5th. And we have an opportunity to do defensive driving online, so all of our staff is getting that taken care of with, hopefully help us with our insurance. Here and your personal insurance too, so. Our next BPW meeting is Wednesday, May 27th. We have the biannual fire hydrant flushing, which is tomorrow and Friday. Household hazardous waste and drug take back day is Saturday, the 25th, from 10 to 2 at Slay Avenue. Also, the city is doing a paper shredding event at their place at the same time, but they only go till 1 o'clock.
Are the banners up for this?
Yes. Yep. Banners are up.
Great.
The only other news I have is there's no election for the BPW this year. We had 2 incumbents that signed back on. Congratulations to Preston and Barbara for another 3 years. That's all I have.
So moving on, invitation. Scott from DMAC.
Good afternoon, everyone, and happy Earth Day.
Yes,
That's right. Aware of it. Scott Lynch, Vice President of Asset Development for the Delaware Municipal Electric Corporation. I'm here this evening with you to invite the board to our annual joint council briefing at the DMAC Administrative Headquarters in Smyrna, Delaware, on Tuesday, June 2nd, from 5 to 7 p.m. We've done this event for a number of years, and it really proves a very valuable time for members of our communities to come together to network with colleagues in other communities and hear about the legislative and regulatory updates from our president and CEO, Kimberly Schlichting. You wouldn't believe it, but when I came here last year to tell you that DMEC was reviewing an unprecedented number of legislation, we said 22 bills last year when we came. I'm standing here today saying we have exceeded that. We're reviewing right now in current legislative session 33 bills. Just give you an understanding of the interest in energy in the legislature. From there, Kimberly will be providing an update further on federal regulatory impacts and energy impacts and our power supply planning. And as a return for what we haven't done in the past few years, but we are bringing it back, is we're going to have bus tours to take council members and board members around to our line worker training yard, which is almost fully built out. We're working on our substation portion of it right now. And then to further, if you've not done before, take you around to our Beasley Power Station. So get there early, you can get in these tours. And with that, there should be invitations get provided to you in your packets. And with that, we look forward to very much seeing you on June 2nd.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Scott.
Thanks, Scott.
Thanks, Scott.
All right, old business. Open forum, general discussion on the update for the 4th Street project in the Burton neighborhood. Robin?
Not much more to add to what I did in my report, other than it is congressionally directed spending. Yes, but the city did have a work session today to talk about the street design for Park Avenue. Public comment came out there. From what I gathered from the meeting, they're going to have a public hearing scheduled and then a meeting to follow to hopefully narrow down the design of the street.
That is correct.
But other than that, we're moving forward. GMB's moving forward with our infrastructure portion. Hopefully we can get this project buttoned up and bid it out and ready to go.
And just to repeat, so the BPW is responsible for the infrastructure portion, the water, stormwater, sewer, and electric, and the city's responsible for the streets, the street design portion of it. So it's a split project.
There is not an electric portion to that project currently.
Correct.
There
Thank you,
was,
Ms. Sexton.
there was a question raised at the workshop today about burying underground wires. And one of the audience members thought that he had heard there was a study done on the cost. And the mayor disabused him of that notion, but said that there were some estimates, and I assume she'll be asking for those.
Well, actually, there was no study done of the Burton neighborhood. There was, Sergeant Lundy came out and looked at Fourth Avenue,
Park.
Fourth Street and Park. And there is no formal numbers because it was considered to be non-feasible because of the location of transformers, the small lot size, the frontages, and the interference with everything else. So, we have kind of ballpark pie in the sky numbers, but it didn't make, the project was not continued because of the physical practicalities.
Right, the mayor did make it clear that there were no numbers, no study that had been completed. So he did make that clear.
I think what I said was correct, or anything you wanted to add to that? I mean,
No, yeah.
Sergeant Lundy came out.
Yeah,
did
they
the
came
work
out, they walked the 4th Street and Park Avenue and kind of got an idea of what we were up against by doing it.
And we've been using Sergeant Lundy for a lot of these special projects and along the way.
Was there any talk about just putting empty conduit in the street, just in case in the future we got a huge grant and found a way to do it?
And once again, it's the physical practicality.
Of putting conduit in the street?
No, that you have to put pad-mounted transformers, and there's no way to locate the pad-mounted transformers without, putting them on people's front porches. I mean, if you go out and you drive around that area, walk around that area, there's very, very little square footage.
Right.
I believe you'd have to have an idea where you're thinking about moving the pole-mounted transformers to the ground-mounted.
Right.
Yeah,
To run the conduit to it, because you wouldn't just run a straight line. You'd have to dig up the street anyway to run the leads to the property.
Running leads, right, good point.
I mean,
Okay.
just for the record, if I had a magic wand, we'd underground everything.
Yeah, I'm just
But it's
wondering
not,
if in the,
we're 100-year-old infrastructure city, and that's just not practical at this point. And the biggest, we gotta go for the biggest bang for the buck.
right,
I think there's probably more discussion about that, but
yeah.
not at this time. There'll probably be some more discussion.
And the other aspect of it is, we have to be sensitive to the time frame that we don't, we have this money, we've got the project, and we don't want to impede the start of the projects.
There'll be more discussion.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on. open forum general discussion on fiscal year 2027 annual budget. Kimberly Belray and Robin Davis.
So in previous board meetings, we have discussed the anticipated changes for fiscal year '26. We did an overview and presented the summary cash flow sheets from the framework. Last meeting, there was a request for the full financial framework. That is what you have today in your packet. And just quickly, I would love to run through it again because, you know, you guys are still getting familiar with it. So I'm going to start on page 4. This is your cash flow summary of all sections of a cash flow statement. And that is your operating activities, investing activities, and financing activities on lines 16 through 20 in that pinkish purplish column for fiscal year 2027. We are cash positive in all 4 utilities. And then the following 3 pages are the details of each of those sections, the operating activities, investing activities, and financing activities. And those 4 pages make up the summary sheets that you'll be getting on quarterly updates. So that takes us to page 8 now. This is your net income from operations. So this is showing your summary of your revenue, expenses, and that is your calculation for your net income. Pages 9 through 13 are your reserve actuals and policy details and the comparison of what we actually have versus what the policy is. So if you actually look on page 13 for 2027, well, let's actually go to 2026. The projected year end for operating reserves on line 15, it shows that we are just over what is required. And then for 2027, it shows that we are short for $38,000. Now, since we are inside of the required amounts for the reserve this year, we have up to 5 years to fix it. So if we go short next year, we have 5 years to build that back up. So that's what this model actually does. And for capital reserves on line 30 for fiscal year 26, it shows that we are over about 80,600. And then 27, it shows us to be short 630. So then that will be a discussion in Finance Committee of if we want to transfer all money to make us whole, or if we want to do a 5-year plan to make us whole, and that will be brought back to you.
Okay, yeah, because when you look 5 years out, we're still in the red.
So then at 5 years for capital, we're back in the black, but then operating, we're still in the red.
Right.
Yep. Then we're going to skip to page 17. This is our allocated expenses. This includes our administrative expenses, our electric usage by utility, our water salary, and our plumbing inspections.
Part of your plumbing inspection.
Say it
There's
again.
another part to the plumbing inspection.
Yes, this is the revenues, the show, and then what fee we are paying, and then the split of that fee that goes to water and to sewer. Then we start going into each utility, starting with page 18. We have electric. This is the summary of revenues. This is based on your class, and that's how you are billed. And then pages 19 through 23 are all the details used for that calculation to project the revenue. Page 24 is our electric operating expenses. And this was set up based on the previous O&M presentation categories. So it would be an easier transition for reading. Page 25 is water summary of revenues, and this is shown as in-city and out-of-city and domestic and irrigation usage. And again, that's based on how we bill. And then pages 26 through 36, which is a little bit more than every other utility because it's showing in-city, out-of-city, irrigation, and water all broken down, all the details. So then that takes us to page 37, which is the operating expenses. And again, it's presented as it was previously presented. Page 38 is our wastewater revenues, and that is based on class and in-city and out-of-city rates. Again, how we actually bill. 39 through 43 are the details that we use to calculate those revenues. And that's going to include your new customers, the actual rates for ready to serve, your impact fees, your commodity rates. It's all in there. And then we go to page 44, wastewater operating expenses. Same story of how it was always presented. And then stormwater, there's very little to present, so it's only 2 pages. 45 is the revenues and the details all on 1 page, and page 46 is the operating expenses. And then with that, I also have a question for the budget approval. Do you want to see the full framework every time, and then when we do quarterly reviews of just the summary? Because we were just going to do the summary, but then it was brought up that maybe we should see all the details for the budget. And I just want to make sure that that's the direction we want to go.
Well,
Go ahead.
the finance committee is going into all the details. And does the entire board want to see the details each time?
I don't think I want to.
I think that the finance committee,
Some people might want it, Bob.
So we'll do the full framework for the budget, so you can see all the workings, and then quarterly updates will be summary sheets, and then the framework is available upon request.
No, I gotta disagree, okay? And I'm starting to understand this, okay? And I did very well. First of all, I think what you have in your notepad ought to be at the front, you know, like look at this and that and so on. Second, the reason I was making such an issue of it last time is we were about to approve a budget that was not included in the summary sheets. I could have sat there and said, tell me what the revenue is for this year, and the summary sheets do not include that number. There it's on page 8. And so in getting ready for this meeting, I had circles and little pencil marks on all the way, everything you mentioned to page 18, and then I kind of skipped back there to the capital budget on page whatever, page
47 starts.
48. So I think the capital budget ought to be in
So that's
there
approved.
periodically. I think your first summary sheets are fine, but you need page 8.
Okay.
And I might give you a couple of others that you mentioned. The reserve summary, page 9. And then quarterly, the whole shooting match, because if it changes,
What'd you say at quarterly?
quarterly, the whole shooting match.
well, what about as an alternative to do the summaries with Kim's notes on the changes and provide this in the packet, but not to be discussed necessarily at the meeting?
I don't think this needs to be discussed except quarterly.
Okay,
Okay,
that's,
I'm not trying to, but, you know, last time we were about to prove something that didn't exist, so I got 53 pages dragged in here by reference, and I could vote yes. And in my defense, I told Kim I was a no vote unless that happened before the meeting, okay, like earlier in the day. So I think we're sorting it out, but you can't approve Robin's budget without the numbers that are available. And I think we're kind of learning how to do this.
so, everyone, Press, your feeling?
I think your summary, I think that would work for me.
Okay. And then
And Barbara?
I ask Kim to send me the spreadsheets each time to look.
I don't want to go through all of this every quarter. I could see for the budget, and perhaps more of a summary quarterly with the notes ahead of time.
I mean, I'm, because if we didn't have a finance committee that was so in-depth, I would be more concerned. But we agree with Barbara that, you know. Richard?
What is your concern on every monthly meeting as
On every
opposed
monthly
to?
meeting, I don't have a concern. I'd be happy to look at this again, April, May, June, at the July meeting.
Okay,
Okay.
so in the May meeting, what pages do you want us to see? What would be helpful?
I don't think any.
So for the May meeting, it is going to be Q4 presentation. So that's why I'm asking for direction, if I'm bringing you 4, 5, maybe 7 pages, or if I'm bringing you 53 pages.
I think we could probably agree on 7.
Which was the 4 summary sheets, page 8, page 9. That would be 6 pages.
That's about right.
Okay. So that will
And the
include the net
capital?
income and the
And the
reserve.
capital.
In the capital, so that's the 7.
Yeah, you'll get the capital separately. As part
Yeah, I
of
think the capital is
presentation,
more,
yes.
is
Yeah.
more critical, but the
So,
operating.
so that's quarterly and monthly?
For monthly, you're just getting the notes in the treasurer's report
Okay,
for when we're
that's
running
fine.
our numbers.
okay,
And we're making note of anything that is standing out to us.
right. So as a discipline or standard for now, we will not be seeing all 51 pages.
Except for budget.
Except for
Except
budget,
for budget.
yeah.
Okay. And at monthly meetings, there,
Be in the consent agenda.
okay, and not
For
this.
quarterly meetings.
Quarterly meetings, it's the consolidated list that's the most helpful and readable and informative for quarterly, or any other special request because of circumstances or projects that come up.
Correct.
We can always change.
And it's either a request or if Kim
Yeah.
sees something that is important
Yeah.
for us to put
Okay.
before us.
Good. Thank you.
I don't know that we need a motion, I think.
You do need to approve the budget.
No, to approve the budget, but I mean, as far as.
Oh, no,
go forward, yeah.
no.
So they did approve the numbers for last month, but they just made the request to see all of it. Correct.
and I wasn't here.
Yep.
So I defer to my colleague.
Yeah, they did approve it upon the
Okay,
condition
good.
that they saw the numbers and they agreed, so,
Got it. So the condition has been
yeah,
satisfied.
yep.
And then the understanding is that, as Bob described, the 7 sheets and the summary, 7 sheet and the notes.
So it'll be the 4 cash flow summary sheets, the net income, the reserve, the capital, and notes.
Right, so 7 sheets plus the notes. Yeah.
Okay, great. Got it.
Okay. Good. Thank you very much. And
Good.
Just going back and reinforcing, you know, the work that the Finance Committee did, and we have a lot to thank Mike Hogan for on developing the system. Gives us a lot better clarity.
Along with
what we're
Kim.
doing.
Yes.
Along with Kim,
Oh, with you.
yes.
Kim, I do think you ought to write down your what's important note there, you know, from here to here to here, because they are what's important. And like I said, I had little blue marks on each of those pages, and exactly the lines you were referencing. So that's where to go, but don't make somebody who doesn't like numbers go find it the hard way.
Yeah, that could be some, like, for the presentation for you, that I could bring out those pages and like actually highlight.
Well, I think
Where
you
the notes are
could, you know, not to belabor this, but this sheet doesn't tell you much. It's impossible to follow. I end up writing, this is page 24, go find it. This is page 48, go find it. So, but
I do actually have a table of contents that I made. It's a different document, and I didn't put it on the
take
front.
that and your table of contents and highlight the table of contents, and all of us can say, oh, it's on page 48, rather than getting blind and finding page 48.
Take all the fun out of it.
Well, can we present this in hexadecimal?
Sort of like that game, Where's Waldo?
All right.
All right, I think that,
Thank you.
thank you, everyone. I'm relatively happy.
Relatively is
That's
great.
saying something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's saying something, Bob.
Open forum and general discussion on a one-year renewal, Finance Committee member term. Richard Nichols.
Yes? Resolution number 017 laid out that the Finance Committee is constituted on a yearly basis and has to be kind of reconfirmed on an annual basis. The current volunteer members, Mike Hogan, Carolyn Jones, and Calvin Jaber, have been the current volunteer members. They've been very helpful and have expressed interest in continuing for another 1 year. And as a result of the progress that we've made so far with the committee members who are required, and these 3 volunteers, the committee recommends that the board approve extending the terms for Mike Hogan, Calvin Jones, and Calvin Jaber.
There's a liaison from the city, but that's
Yes,
That's a
but
required.
that's ex
That's required,
officio,
yeah. I'm just
and
saying-
we are very happy that Trina Brown Hicks has been the ex officio from the city. So
thank you.
she didn't have a choice in the matter.
All right,
So,
You need a motion?
yes,
I'd like to move that we reappoint the three.
I'll second.
on the question?
Yep.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Trina, I don't know if the city needs to reappoint you as the ex officio, because I don't think they name your specific position each year, so. We would love to have you.
And, you know, and the corollary is that we have a liaison on the city's finance committee, so. All right, open forum, general discussion on the extension of the memorandum of understanding of the city of Lewes, between the city of Lewes and the BPW. Mr. Hoffman.
Yes, so in your packets is essentially what we've termed an interim agreement. Working group has gotten together between the city and the board to discuss updates to the memorandum of understanding between the city of Lewes and the Lewes BPW. That agreement by its terms expires this coming July. So what's before you is an agreement to extend that essentially to the end of this year, to provide the group some more time to work out a more substantive replacement, or I guess follow up to that agreement. So it's pretty, I think it's pretty straightforward as drafted, but I'd be happy to answer any questions that the board may have.
And just to amplify, you know, even though we're extending it through the end of the year, the intent is to, you know, work on this and with haste to get it done in a timely manner, not to just push it off.
Okay, my question was 4E. Do we really need notices to be delivered by certified mail return? Maybe hand delivered or by certified mail?
So I will answer the question this way. The entirety of section 4, the general provisions, that's boilerplate language in a contract. I can't imagine what notices would be provided under this interim agreement. So I think essentially it's a moot point, but I think it is a good point for the subsequent agreement that we focus on that boilerplate provision in the next draft.
Correct me, because I don't remember, I mean, being involved in the original MOU. Is this in the original MOU also?
It may be, and the original, actually, I can answer that question. The original agreement does include boilerplate language. I can't remember if that specific notice provision, but
Yeah,
give me
I
2
don't remember.
seconds. It
Hey,
does.
Press, do you remember?
It is not. It is not. So, but but we can make a note of that for the subsequent.
Okay, so do I have a motion, this doesn't have to be read by title.
Nope.
No, so I have a motion to approve the extension till the end of, it was December 31st,
Well,
right?
it'd be a motion to approve the interim agreement as presented.
So moved.
second?
All in favor?
Aye.
And just for the record, Press and I were on the original group that created the MOU with the city back then. Open forum, general discussion on accepting the Hornkill Avenue water and sewer bid.
Well, Ben's getting up. We received funding from state agencies to install a new water, sewer, and streets in Hornkill Avenue, which includes the 11 properties that were at the time currently outside the city, and the city has annexed in. That's to remove existing wells and septics from those 11 properties and hook them onto our system. There is a portion of this that does include principal forgiveness for that, the water and sewer for the 11 properties. The city approved the awarding of the bid at their meeting on April 13th. Ben's got the details of it he can present to you. Hopefully we can move forward with awarding the bid and getting the project moving.
Yeah, so good evening. Robin took a lot of the thunder of the presentation here, but, we opened bids for this project on, April 2nd, right here. We received 3 bids from Teal Construction, George and Lynch, and, Adel Construction. The lowest responsive bidder for this project was Teal Construction, and the total amount of $2,097,897. Of that portion, of that total amount, a portion of that is the city's portion for the road repair or road reconstruction of the in-city portion, as well as bringing the, I guess what once was out-of-city portion up to city standards. And that share total would be $442,964.54. So that leaves the BPW side of that portion as $1,654,932.46. What that's gonna do is replace water mains, that's our existing, as well as extend water main. Replace the existing pump station with a new station that's compliant with, the mitigation committee's recommendations for, sea level rise and, you know, it was a part of the, pump station study that, we conducted, so all that kind of has culminated into, this will be the first station that, you see the kind of results of that. So as Robin noted, the board or the city approved this project, contingent upon board approval at their April 13th meeting. We've also received approvals from the funding agencies in concurrence with awarding to Teal. So our recommendation is moving forward with this award to Teal.
And just to add on, is that this has been a project that we've been working on for a very long time to meet the needs of the out-of-town residents and bring the system up to date and get rid of septic systems in the wetland areas. So this is an environmental benefit to the community and, you know, provides a benefit to the residents.
Question about the pump station. Is it in the floodplain?
It is, yes, it's in the floodplain, yes. I remember that.
But it will be designed, a sealed wet well to accomplish that?
It'll be raised up.
Yeah.
It's gonna raise down.
Oh, it's gonna be,
All the electrical equipment is
oh,
raised
the
up
electrical, yeah, but I mean,
above.
the well is still gonna be below grade. I mean,
Correct,
it's,
yeah.
that portion will be sealed, yeah.
Yes, the floodplain there is, I believe, a 7. In that location.
So how high will the pump station
Electrics.
but the house or whatever rise above the existing grade?
So the electrical equipment will be, the bottom of it will be above the 11.64 requirement. The top of the structure, I don't quite remember that number off the top of my head, but it's,
So the 11.64 or whatever is the top elevation that the resiliency committee said, okay, in the event of a disaster, you've got to get the bottom of the electric up to that.
Well,
And how high is
Above mean
that
sea level.
above the grade
oh,
at that point?
that's about 5 feet above the grade, plus or minus.
yeah, I
Okay,
just want to re-clarify though, it's not for disasters, because it does not include hurricanes, that type of event. It's about sea level rise
Sea level rise.
and subsidence.
Okay.
And flooding. It's based on a
But, yeah,
100-year
but,
base flood
yeah,
plus.
but it's
Okay.
not based upon Back Bay flooding coming in from a hurricane.
And so the absolute, the approximate elevation of between the ground and that 11-foot target is 5 feet?
About 5 feet. It's the ground elevation there's like a 6.5-ish in that range.
Okay. And so does that 5 feet, so that's where it's going to start, and it doesn't have to rise after that because it'll be at that target elevation?
Well,
Right.
yeah, that'll be the bottom of the electrical panel.
Right.
So the panels are, 2
Above
feet.
that?
Yeah, correct.
Yes. But now, accessing that electric, if that's where it's going to be installed, what's involved in accessing that electric? Is that at steps, or is it a ladder, or is it?
Correct. So here, there's only two to three steps to get up to that platform level. So the top or the bottom of the panel to the platform is about 3 feet.
Right.
So the bottom of the platform to the ground is about 2 feet.
Okay, so somebody needing to check the equipment can drive up, bicycle up, walk, swim, whatever, and can walk up the steps. They don't need any special equipment. Open it up and access what they need.
Correct.
We approved that
Yes,
design.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
We've
what I was
already
going to say.
approved that design.
Because
Not
there's
with
gonna be
the
a wooden-
steps.
There's going to be a
Yes.
wooden fence, yes. Yeah.
I don't
The whole
think so.
design, there was supposed to be a wooden fence around it.
Correct. There's a fence around, not around the specific,
Yeah.
it's around
But
the whole
site,
yeah.
yes, correct.
I think it's fascinating looking at comparing apples to apples with the bids.
Oh, yeah, it's always crazy.
Oh, man.
I've never gotten
So
over
based
that.
upon,
It's huge.
how much work someone has and how hungry they are.
2.9,
What are the
11,
projects?
11 houses.
Even you start with the mobilization costs.
Well, that's a game they play. You get money up front
Yeah.
there, so.
But, and then they can flip, the next time around. So
Yeah, right. It's
why
nice,
you go
the
out for bids.
format, it's very nice to compare.
So do I have a motion to accept the bid as proposed?
So moved.
Gulp, yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Just for the
Going
record, who
back-
seconded? Was the Bob?
Bob.
Okay.
I'm sorry, going back to the extension of the MOU, Amy, the mayor, is signing for the city. It does not designate who's signing for BPW.
It's, right,
so,
it'll,
yeah,
it'll be
so-
president, so
Yeah, so I don't know if we need to add that on to here to make sure that it's,
I will email, yes.
And just a note on the project, the Hornkill project, our plan is to have a community meeting in May now that the bids have been approved, that hopefully we can get a firmer timeline on when we start and stuff, and hopefully we can pass that along to the community residents and let them know.
What's your guess, Robin?
We had that in May, possibly early July start. Maybe a April timeframe of completion, April 27, 2027, 8 months, 9 months? Yeah, correct.
That'd be good.
once again, it's a long time coming, and it's great to see it come to completion. Open forum general discussion on reinstating the mitigation committee and establishing a new scope. Information discussion, Tom Panetta and Mike Hoffman. So Preston led this committee.
That's the first I've heard of this, too. Go ahead.
Seriously?
Tom,
No, I've read it.
Oh,
I read it. Nobody discussed this with me at all.
Tom at the last meeting requested it be added to the agenda.
So this was to reinstate the committee, to be able to relook at the impacts and to make sure that we've really addressed it. And, once again, to consider things like what the University of Delaware and the Sea Grant College had put forth at the, I can't remember what the name of that meeting was, the storm surge meeting, for going forward.
Okay. Are we gonna reconstitute a full committee again? We just-
No, you gotta do it.
Good.
No, I'm sorry, I shouldn't be facetious. No, it would be to reconstitute the committee.
The whole committee.
Committee, yeah.
Do we have to reappoint members of the committee?
So I would have a couple questions. I think
Yeah.
the threshold question is it your intention to have it as a standing committee, or would this be an ad hoc committee? Difference being, Finance Committee, for example, is a standing committee. It's a committee that exists, it always runs, and you reconstitute, you reappoint each year the membership. If the intention is to have a mitigation committee as a standing committee, we can draft it that way. Or alternatively, an ad hoc committee is a committee for a specific purpose. So if
Which is
you are,
what we did last time.
if you're it was technically a standing committee. And then we disbanded it after that work was done. But if you want it to be a standing committee, we can draft it that way. If you want it to be an ad hoc committee for purpose of reviewing, we can draft it that way. I just need to know what the preference is.
I think it should ad hoc, really, because I don't think we have a lot of going on year to year. We could make it a standing, but that meets once a year or 6 months or something like that. If you wanted to do that, then you got people tied up.
The will of the board.
Because, I can't even, I should have looked at, I don't remember when the committee made the recommendations. It's gotta be a year and a half, 2 years ago?
It was before I was.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
3 years.
they were committee members.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And, you guys worked on it for a very long time,
it's
so
gotta be more than 3 years, it's probably not 3.5 years.
Yeah.
time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah.
So,
I guess I think ad hoc is good enough. We have a new set of information from the University of Delaware, from this stormwater group that's going to report somewhere along the way. And one of the things that was good about the ad hoc approach was, the way it may have been called the standing committee, but we were dealing with it as ad hoc, was we thought it was going to be over, and what's our final recommendation? And one of the first questions for a new committee would be, is 11.64 right or not?
Yeah.
Based on.
yeah, because, to get back, as most people have heard me say before, is the numbers that were available back then
Yeah.
were all historical, and they were 50-year retrospective, and they were not weighted to the current. And the new numbers that are out that we saw at the University of Delaware Sea Grant presentation show the current and the increase, the curve of those. So that's what the point of this is that we were working with, Preston and the team were working with the best that they had at the time, but we have more better. We have better information now.
Well, I think a relook is good in light of new information and however you constitute that. But, the impact may not be as big, because if you just said 11.64 should be 13.64, Ben adds 2 feet of pipe, it's, but I think it's a valid question. And so I'd be in favor of some kind of committee composed of,
And I'd be interested,
Could we, well, two of the committee members are now council and BPW members. Could three people be on it? So-
You don't want three. You can
Yeah.
have two, but you don't want three.
Yeah. So you guys could fight. Well, I can fight too, though. But
one of the other things I would want the committee to recommend is that this was sea level rise subsidence that you used. And it completely ignored, because we really don't have any means of protecting hurricanes, back bay flooding, and what, if anything, there is that we couldn't do for that.
Is there any limit to the, time limit to an ad hoc committee?
Only if you put one.
Okay. So that gives you the best flexibility, just rather than saying a standing committee and now it's, okay, forever.
The big distinction is if you want a standing committee if it's something that you think should be a recurring thing. But if the purpose here is really to kind of revisit and update based on new information, that is better as an ad hoc.
but I would put, a year on it or something like that, just so it's not offended.
All right, so do I have a motion to create an ad hoc committee to carry on the work that mitigation did, to update based upon current information and provide recommendations to the board?
If I can make a recommendation, I would recommend if it is okay to wait at least a month. I think based on this discussion, we'll put that into a resolution.
Okay.
So that you'll have the membership, the charge, the time, and then the board can vote on the resolution.
So good,
Okay,
good.
all right. Punt. So that'll be the May meeting.
Do you need a motion to punt?
Should we consider suggesting committee members in the interim to the anticipated chair? From outside community members,
Well,
somebody from UD, hopefully.
that's a good idea, too. I was thinking about bringing Mark back. Yeah. But
So one way, the resolution itself will be pretty generic, just as the finance committee is, certain ex officio, and then it'll say, X number of volunteers. And so that would be step one. Step two is actually filling those seats. You can truncate or you can shorten the time. You don't have to wait a month and then wait a month. If between now and next month you want to think about who that should be, we could have two agenda items. And so one is to form the committee. The next one is to approve membership of the committee.
and I guess we should suggest.
And I think we have a lot better, there's a lot more people out there now that are, okay.
And we'll probably ask somebody from the city again to be on it. The RC of the cities, someone from that committee would be a good person for this committee.
As a liaison.
Yeah, as the ad hoc.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ad hoc on the ad hoc.
Puzzles. Okay. Item 15. Open forum, general discussion on Sussex County agreement for pump station 4 improvements. Robin, you want to walk us through this one?
Okay. What you have in your packet was a brief summary with a staff recommendation and the draft agreement. Back in January, the BPW and the Sussex County Council approved an agreement, which was known as the wastewater treatment agreement, concerning wastewater treatment and the future transmission of wastewater to the county's Wolf Neck Regional facility. The joint agreement notes the completion of a list of capital projects, which includes upgrades to pump station 4 and a new transmission system between the service territories, with the cost of the improvements being shared as detailed in the agreement. several months ago, the county, once, again, after the agreement was signed, set up a meeting, the county set up a meeting with some of the members of the BPW and GMB to review some of the pump stations that were included in the agreement, which was pump station 3, 6, and 7, which was slated for SCADA upgrades, and station 4, which are slated for some major upgrades to the pumps, the station itself, and some of the transmission lines, and a complete replacement of pump station 8. During those discussions with the county, it was determined it was mutually beneficial for both parties to complete the necessary pump station 4 and transmission line upgrades sooner than later to get them taken care of. By moving that timing forward, we thought it was best to do a standalone supplemental agreement. Just to clarify how things are going to be paid, when they're going to be paid, how that kind of falls into the cap and things like that. What you have there is this agreement. This agreement was presented to the Sussex County Council by Hans on April 13th at their meeting, and they approved that agreement unanimously. Legal counsel has reviewed it. Seems it's adequate for what we need. So what we have before you today is that agreement. Hopefully, the staff recommends that the board approves the agreement and we move forward to execution.
And just in clarification for the general public, so pump station 4 is the one on the town side of the bridge,
Yes.
and pump station 8 is the one that's on the corner of American Legion in Savannah.
Yep.
And that's the one that will be completely replaced and moved moved closer to the plant. And
Yeah.
the two of those are the main feeds to the
Yeah,
county.
and in line with that, GMB is working with the county engineer, Mike, is here, to kind of coordinate design and what is needed for the upgrades to that plant, pump station 4.
Okay, so the one by American Legion Road goes away.
It will be, it's going to have to be a new station, yes.
And
At the same location or on the same parcel.
I think there's a pipe underneath this.
Yes, there is. The plan is for the
wetland.
pipe to be utilized, if possible. Yep.
Okay. And then pump station 4 gets upgraded,
Correct,
and that's a good thing to do now.
correct, yeah.
And that
Because
all,
we were going to, that pump station was in need of upgrades either way.
pump station 4 has a pipe that goes directly to the plant across the, and under the wetlands.
Correct.
Okay. But under the canal or over the canal?
Under canal.
And that pipe would probably stay or be
Yes.
replaced?
That is the hope.
The hope.
Will
Don't
this,
see any problem with it. It's just, it will be redirected when it gets on closer to it actually goes from 4, kind of, I don't want to say a direct line to the wastewater plant. But there's going to be some, when the new 8 comes on board, we're going to have to somehow tie into that line.
Yeah, it's kind of a fishbone where,
Yeah, it's-
4 and 8
I have
come and go towards the plant.
we had a picture for you, but we said we can't bring it up. This is, what was presented before, this was some of the drawings that GME did before. Kind of gives you an idea where the pipe is. And it might not be exact.
So currently, the pipe at 8 collects from the beach
Correct,
and goes directly to the plant.
correct. Yep,
There's no connection from 8 up to 4.
not currently, no. Nope. But that's what will happen.
That
with-
may happen, and maybe the one that goes under the wetlands gets removed.
No, the plan is to keep that pipe there and is to
Okay.
redirect the flow from 8 that's currently going to the plant to a manifold system at pump 4. It will not be pumped into, the effluent from 8 will not go into pump 4. There'll be a manifold there.
So it's good, the discharge from 8 is going to merge with the discharge from 4. 4 is not a pump forward.
So that from 8 to that manifold goes up Savannah and over the canal, under the canal,
Unnecessarily.
to,
It goes in the pipe, it's gonna be going, the plan is for it to go in the pipe that is now
under
being
the canal.
utilized, under the counter, that's being utilized to pump from Ford to pump to the, plant.
Right, so the new pump from, the new pipe from 8 to the manifold is a manifold that's on the beach side of the canal connecting to the pipe that runs from 4 to the plant.
I don't know. Can you do your picture
I
again?
think it's important to be clear that right now, what we're talking about is only pump station 4 upgrades.
Yes.
And the line that runs from pump station 4 down Gill's Neck.
Right.
So we're not talking about pump station at all, pump station 8 right now. It will happen after the turnover, if I'm not mistaken.
Right, but the question is still, just,
They haven't designed it yet, so we don't know.
okay. But realistically, the 8 to the manifold at 4, that connection happens on the beach side of the canal rather than doing another pipe under to pump station 4.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a detail we
There were
worked
some thoughts to
out.
go down American Legion Road and go over the bridge, the other bridge, Freeman Bridge, bring it across. But that's,
Okay, fine. Okay, thank you.
TBD, somehow it's magically going to get from 8 to
Okay.
the town side.
Will the upgrade let us get rid of that rental generator at pump station 4?
Hope so.
No, I think the generator is just part of the historic district.
Yes, I've been moved it so long, so it has to be.
we can put it on your lot if you want.
Yeah, that's the hope.
Yeah, I mean,
I'd like to move that we approve the pump station 4 and transmission improvements.
Second?
all in favor?
Aye.
Just to clarify, approve the agreement as presented.
As presented.
Yes.
Second.
Second.
And,
Do we vote?
all
Aye.
in favor? Aye.
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 And Sharon, do we have the signed copy from
We
the
do.
county? Okay, so I can sign it.
Mike was kind enough to bring it over for us.
Did you have anything you wanted to say, Mike, about it? You just,
I'll take the agreement if you want to send it over.
Mike, if you want to step up and introduce yourself.
Okay, yeah. So, Mike Harmer, county engineer, filling some big shoes of Hans Medlars, who's retired finally, fully. And I just wanted to come here today. I wanted to bring the agreement over that Doug Hudson signed, and that's the original. So when you're done with it, I'll get it back. You can just hook up with Robin. But I look forward to working with you on this project. Just wanted to make sure you know I'm engaged, fully engaged, and very look forward to this project and working, with the board and especially again with Press. I've worked with him in the past, so I hope
that
not
day
to
you killed the
disappoint.
project.
Everything was going good, Mike.
And we're looking. I've talked to GMB this morning, and as soon as this is signed, we will get them the correct paperwork to start the project, and I'll keep you informed as to the status and welcome input, press along the way. If you want to be involved, you're welcome to, but we will look forward to working with the board and my county team to deliver the project as Hans has laid it out with his great roadmap that he presented a couple weeks ago.
Mike, what's your time frame on completion, roughly?
For the pump station, we should be probably designed within a year or so. What do you think? Yeah. I mean, we're going to attack it, and I'm going to try to beat all those schedules. I meet or beat, but that's no guarantee because we know how permitting and things go.
So like next year?
Next year, we hope to have a design done for that project, yeah.
Okay,
And then permits.
A year after that or something?
Construction, yeah. So, but then we got a pipeline and easements could be an issue and things like that. But stay tuned. I will update you along the way. I want to make sure you see me tonight, and you'll see a lot of me going forward. And I hope they answer the questions right. And GMB as a team member, we use them on other projects, so it's a good start to the project, and look forward to working with you, Ben, and your whole team in your office.
We're looking forward to it too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Big time.
You know, once again, I mean, this has been another long-term project, and it's nice to see it starting, I can't say to completion, but, you know, getting really
This will
formally
be a
kicked off
tricky
now.
project.
Absolutely. All right, Tom, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks for coming.
Take care.
I'll get this to you.
All right.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right, so, call to the public. And same rules as we stated up front.
Nobody's
No
on.
one's in?
Board request.
Oh, yeah, sorry, board requests for future agenda items.
I meant to say it when I talked, but, Steve Meininger, our CEO for Infomark, is actually gonna be in town on Tuesday, and my boss, who's the new VP for the region, David Gapo, is gonna be here. And we were just extending, we'll be touring the wastewater plant and wanted to see if any of the members would want to meet with either of the two of them while they're in town. It's, Tuesday, 1 o'clock is when we'll be down here. Just wanted to let everybody know.
Is that the guy from Rhode Island?
David is.
David.
Steve, he actually has a beach house very close to here, now I don't remember. But within a half hour, he doesn't live that far away from here, but we were finally able to get him to come here and see the plant. Oh, sorry, Nathan Laux, Infomark.
Thank you, Nate.
Thank you for keeping us honest, Jess. John.
I would like to suggest an agenda item
Okay,
for an update from IT. And I recognize this may be a executive session thing because of cybersecurity concerns, but I think it's time for an update.
and even then, there's probably stuff that we can't share with the board.
Just, it'll be the normal work that Josh was doing in the past.
Yeah.
Well, an agenda item for next time might be whatever Infomark can do with bumps and bypasses and $64,000.
Yeah, I mean, we asked for that in the informal report, so yeah. Okay. All right. Call to the press, I said Bill is not around, he's gonna listen to the tape and get back to us. We have no reason for an executive session, so, motion to adjourn,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all very much, and the sun is still shining.